If you want an accurate explanation of what happened from the moment of creation to the flood, you have to go to Genesis in the Bible. In Genesis, you learn that God created the heavens, then the earth, and that humanity was eventually wiped out by this great flood. It's the same story we've been hearing for thousands of years. But recently I wanted to dig a little deeper. While reading the Bible recently and creating the video on creation, something caught my eye, a strange word I had never seen before. Genesis 6 talks about the time when the Nephilim lived on earth. The Nephilim are a mysterious theme that runs throughout the Bible. They were an ancient race of giants who were the children of fallen angels. The Nephilim have an origin story, but it appears in a specific book called the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch is part of a much larger story. It explains how humanity fell into sin and depicts what was going on in the background of biblical stories. Like Noah's Ark, once upon a time, God flooded the entire earth with a flood, which makes us wonder, what did people do to deserve such a fate? I suspect we're missing an important detail that led to the demise of the ancient world. 4,500 years ago, something powerful happened that left mysterious traces all over the world. The story of Enoch takes place in ancient Mesopotamia. During the early days of humanity, God sent angels called the Watchers to watch over the earth as humanity expanded. The daughters of men began to multiply, and the angels guarding the earth began to lose themselves in the beauty of mortal women. The Book of Enoch explains that their leader, Somyaza, gathered all of his angels and announced a plan to descend to earth and take wives. They knew that dealing with women would have disastrous consequences, so Somyaza feared that he, as the leader, would be punished. In order not to be alone in this endeavor, he bound himself and all of the angels with a mysterious oath. This oath bound their sins and their consequences together. With this oath, the angels were ready to begin their mission. After the angels descended from heaven, the world fell into chaos. The Watchers found their wives and consummated their marriages. To their shock, the offspring of these relationships were abnormally large half-angel, half-human hybrids that could reach 300 cubits in height. They were fierce, aggressive, and extremely powerful. These creatures are what the Bible mentions in Genesis 6-4. Why is this important? Because there is a backstory that we have forgotten. Although Enoch is not canonical, it raises an important question. Where do demons come from? As mentioned in Revelation 12-9, the average Christian believes that any demons are just fallen angels. However, the Bible does not specifically say where demons come from. In fact, the Bible does not answer this question, which is strange considering that 1/3 of Jesus' ministry was to cast out demons. If we look closely at the Book of Enoch, we know that these giants were not created by God, and their souls were not registered in heaven. There was no heaven for these giants. When the Nephilim died, their souls were bound to the earth and became evil spirits that oppressed the people. These Nephilim eventually became the demons we know today. That was common knowledge 1,000 years ago. The Book of Enoch is not canonical, but it is an oral history. People know this story because it answers a lot of questions. This brings me back to the original question long ago. God flooded the entire earth. What did people do to deserve such a fate? Don't get me wrong, sin was already present on earth. But after the fallen angels came, sin became rampant everywhere. It all starts with the wives of these angels. In relationships, people tend to talk, and over time, the angels revealed the secrets of heaven to their wives. These angels, immortal beings who were present at the creation of the earth, possessed hidden knowledge that humans can only describe as magic. When this hidden knowledge was passed on to humans, it contaminated generation after generation and further separated them from God. This was just the tip of the iceberg. God flooding the entire earth was a personal, serious consequence, and I never really understood it until I learned about the Dead Sea Scrolls. In the 20th century, a major discovery was made in a cave near the Dead Sea. A child stumbled upon these 2,000-year-old scrolls that contained various ancient texts. Of these, the most interesting was a book called the Book of Giants. This book is interesting not only because of its name, but also because it provides insight into events before flood. The Book of Giants begins with the fallen angels descending from heaven, bringing knowledge and destruction. They exploited the fertility of the earth and ruled over all living things and plants. The angels selected different species for racial mixing, i.e. hybridization. The book says that these angels created giants and monsters. This story shows that people worshipped these transgenic creatures as false gods and mythical creatures. This is where humanity went astray. The worship of these new creatures, fallen angels, giants, and these monsters became our new gods. This led to the strange half-human, half-animal mythical creatures common throughout history, such as the centaur and the minotaur, and depictions in ancient Egyptian art. The Book of Giants shows that humans were involved in this crossing. The Bible itself confirms this in Leviticus 18, which mentions a nation that was previously wiped out because of having sex with animals. It says, "Do not have sexual intercourse with animals. Do not defile yourselves in any way, for thus was the nation that I'm expelling before you defiled." In the book of Jude, the Book of Enoch is used as an example of why God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah for sexual immorality and the pursuit of alien flesh. The angels who left their kingdom were chained in darkness for eternity to be judged. The theme of alien flesh and hybridization has connotations of genetics and DNA. God wanted to keep human DNA pure. Anyone who damaged it would anger God, and that is what the flood was about. It is about family trees. God flooded the world because the fallen angels had changed it, corrupting plants, animals, and humans, even our DNA. God saved Noah because he was perfect in his generation, while the earth was corrupt and filled with violence.